Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020 as part of the 31 Days of May, as it's day 29. And that means, as we've hit the midpoint that part of the year, it's time for a look over everything as far as how the mid-year is going. So, it's July 1st in game, so let's get rolling and see who's done what and what they're doing first as part of, sort of the main roster. And then we'll look at our dev fed and all other fun stuff. I think I'll probably make this a two-part thing this time around, where part one is going to be a deep look at our own roster and everything else, and then part two will be a more look around the world and such. Let's start rolling with this. So, first independent wrestler of the year is Shane Ballard, and if we look at his career, he's not really that good in ring, and start quality sort of meh. But as far as matches go, he's had a solid, average of 66 is solid, considering most of the good indie workers in this timeline are now working either for us, WWE, or over in Japan. Female wrestler of the year is Amber James. I'm guessing this is a case where, she's averaging a 68. I guarantee maybe Trisha Sky is done, but she's probably done less matches or something. Or something where my random matches where I have people win in squashes hurt the overall. But still interesting that she's lost that. Veteran wrestler so far is Scott Steiner. He's still a solid, upper mid-carder guy for the WE. In this timeline, his foot never got wrecked, so he can still be a solid wrestler, including having a random 100 versus Shawn Michaels at Raw back in February. Young wrestler of the year so far is Mystico. That's fucking Mystico. Still Astro Boy, I guess, in this timeline. I might go in and eventually change that, just because I might get too annoyed, but anyway. Show of the year was As Midnight Approaches for Noah, so let me just look at that event real quick. It was a 95, and we had Akiyama versus Takayama doing a 95, Misawa versus Ogwa being 93, then Kobashi versus Marufuji being 99. So yeah, I can understand why that was a show of the year. Match of the year so far is Michael versus Lesnar at Backlash. So, in canon, I'm guessing I'm putting this as sort of as Michael's official heel turn, as this is after Lesnar's turn face, turning back on Cornette back at Mania, which I booked. And now it's supposed to be face versus face. Crowd is split, and eventually we get the formation of the new DX to help Michaels win. Team of the year is Awesome Storm, so that's good. And that makes sense because, if you look at, match history, if we just include Lance, they've been averaging 85s. So, yeah, just banger after banger for them. And company of the year so far is us, which I'm kind of shocked by, considering we've lost every monthly battle, which is weird. But hey, doing good so far. But wrestler of the year so far is, of course, Triple H, which is hilarious considering everything going on with his out of the ring stuff. But he's still banging out 100s, and I don't know. It's interesting that I've tried to punish him in game, but the game hasn't. I guess it doesn't get if you've cheated on the boss's daughter and the boss now hates you in game, he'd probably book you worse, just not look at your stats. But this stuff happens. What can you do? So as a secondary thing, now that we've gone over the mid-year report, the second thing I have to show you guys is something a little different. So, as is tradition, usually this happens more near the end of the year as far as in-game, but since I moved Mayhem to August, that means I have to push this to, basically now. So what's happening is, every year, as part of the Mayhem Tournament, I do a pick 'em and allow people to do their predictions, and in exchange, what happens is you guys get to adjust certain parts of the, not the season, what I'm saying, a part of the game as far as who gets pushed, who gets de-pushed, matches. Now you can't change everything. You can't say, hey, push Disco Inferno as a world champion, or you can't say, put, I don't know, sign Kenny Omega and make him world champion now, or stuff like that. But what you can do, and I'll go over the full list of rewards, is you can tell me who to sign as a dev signing, who to let go from my dev territory, stuff like that. Now, how you do that is you'll go to the link here, which I'll include as part of the description, of course, and then you basically create a prediction. And how it works is every match in the first round you get right is 1 point. Every match in the second round you get right is 3 points. And then in quarterfinals, which will be part of the Mayhem pay-per-view, it's 5 points. And then, remember, since the Mayhem tournament ends in a 4-way ladder match, it doesn't matter who you pick to win the semifinals. It only matters who you pick to win the tournament, and that's worth 15 points. And as far as the actual rewards go, the rewards are as follows for you guys. So, first place, whoever wins Predictions Tournament gets to choose a match at a January pay-per-view. You get to choose immediate. Well, okay, actually, let me change that. You get to pick a match at the November pay-per-view, which is the next pay-per-view after the next basically 2 brand pay-per-view, because everything else is either September is Fall Brawl, which is a Brand Pacific, October's Havoc, which is also Brand Pacific. You can choose a wrestler brought up from developmental. You get to choose one wrestler to push and one wrestler to be push, and you get to pick a dev signing, which I'll go over more specifically. If you get second place, you get to choose any title match on a Nitro or a Revolution. You don't choose who wins, but you at least get to choose who wins. You get to choose a push and a D push, and again, if there's any conflict, first place wins, or I'll just let you know, say somebody says they want, again, Austin Aries push, and you say, D push the bastard, I'll contact you and let you know you need to choose somebody else, and you also get to choose a dev signing. A third place is you get to pick just a match at a Nitro Revolution, and you get to choose a dev signing, and then if I get more than 10 predictions, there will be a random person picked to get a match in Nitro. And again, how it works is, you sign up, and then what you can do is, by default, the site, shows the email to me. But if you don't want to get contacted via email, include and make it obvious what it is, either your Reddit name, a Twitter name, I don't even know what else to say, Reddit, Discord name, whatever you want, the way you be contacted, make that part of your username, or be okay with being contacted via email, and watch out for that email after the Mayhem Tournament is over. And of course, as we go through the tournament, I'll be, keeping track of the scores and show you guys who's winning and who's losing. So again, that's open now, and it will be open until I post the first week after the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view, which will be week 4 of July, as that will be when the tournament will start. So there we go. And now, do this. So then we've gone over this stuff. So now let's go over the fun part, which is first the company. So, I guess we should start with the size here. So again, we're a huge company. Since we've gained only a point in the US since then, but that's mainly because we've sort of reached our top point as high as we can actually get to. In Canada, we've basically hit as high as we can go with our current TV deal, which I'll have to look into. Unfortunately, I had to extend our current TV deal 6 months because of the whole falling apart with TBS. Mexico's actually where we're most over, which is kind of hilarious. British Isles, so, we're the AEW of our time, except we're also over in the US. Japan, oh yeah, we're really over in Japan. So again, honestly, we should be doing more shows in these places. Which is something I might actually do. Europe is weird because just where our TV coverage is. We're slowly getting more over everywhere, so that'll be interesting. Australia is weird because we don't have coverage in New Zealand, so it's sort of crashed there. That would be something I might have to rebuild, but of course, everywhere else we're doing really solid, including really over in Victoria, Queensland, and New Southland. And then India, nothing because it's not really active yet. So there we go. Production. Oops, that's not the wrong thing. Production. So yeah, we're basically highest possible level in everywhere because we're free WCW. Owner goals. So, if you remember, I screwed up my owner goal because I let Macias go under 77, so that means Bischoff is currently unhappy with me. Hopefully, average because I passed another one, so hopefully another 6 months, I won't screw up with O'Hare and I can keep him over. So there we go. Also, can't hire extended contract because less than 60 in safety, which is the worst thing. And yeah, we have $227 million. I think I won't blow $200 million in 2 years. Let's see here. I'm just thinking here. Finance, yeah, we're making all the money every month. Yeah, just an insane amount. It's stupid. Let's see here. Backstage, our backstage is good. 100%, despite, because we have all these negative influences, but then we have all these positive influences, so it's interesting. Let's see here. Creative-wise, again, we have Goldberg, RVD, Eddie, Ray, and Trisha Sky as our 5 top stars, which is interesting. Next big things is Angel Fox, Ray LePen, Lash LaRue, Yang, and Lila Vivez. Hot prospects is Angel Fox, Teddy Hart, Keenan Sharp, Alyssa Alexander, and Lash LaRue. Talk the Talk is Canyon, Flair, Booker, RVD, and Jarrett. Showstoppers is Rey Mysterio Jr., RVD, AJ Styles, Eddie, and The Truth. Ring Generals is Lance, Ray, Eddie, Morningstar, and Chavo. Who's not is Monty, Jeff Jarrett, Ray, Helms, and Storm. And who's not is only Teddy Hart and Ric Flair. So there we go. Titles-wise, our product is still just, mainstream sports entertainment, nothing fancy here. Stables, again, we have Captivation, Roman Legion, Chosen Few, and the Triumvirate. Storylines wise, I already showed you guys. Titles, so Cruiserweight Champion, of course, is just the recently, won it, Reckless Roberts. Taka started the year as champion after winning the Ignition 6-Way, lost it to Seidel in February. Seidel's held it since then. Saw a little roster, and we looked at Prestige. It's slowly lost a little, only because it used to be with a bunch of more high, upper mid-carder people, unfortunately. Next up is the Women's World Tag Match. Of course, Busick and Colt have held the title since they were created in March of 2005, so about almost 4 months. World TV Champion has been interesting, as of course, Jason Judd had a long reign from September 2004 to March 2005. Then The Truth held it from March to May 2005, but he had 5 defenses as opposed to 14 in almost 7 months for Jet. And then Lance Storm has held it since May, and he's had, I believe, 2 title defenses. Your U.S. champion is Mike Awesome, of course. Toro held the belt through February, dropped to Alex Wright, who held the title through June, and then Mike Awesome won the belt on the Nitro. Our Women's World Champion is Trisha Sky, of course. Trisha Sky won it back at Starrcade, lost it to Gail Kim in March, won it back in June, and there you go. And then our World Tag Team Champions are Storm and Awesome, of course. Let's see here. Yeah, Macias and Morningstar held the belts until January when they lost in Mayhem Tournament. ANW held them all the way through May, when Storm and Awesome took the belts off them. And then we have our World Champion. Of course, RVD won the title at Starrcade. Beat Shane Helms, beat Ray Jr., beat Jarrett, beat Monty Brown, beat Eddie and Canyon in a triple threat match, lost it to, then he, of course, Kidman cashed in, beat RVD again, and then beat Booker T. Again, we can look at the tag title defenses. Orange beat Sting and Ric Flair. Then AMW beat them at Showdown Sun. AMW beat Jindrak and Divine. Beat Awesome Storm. Beat Helms and Tomko. Then Awesome Storm won the Assault of Anarchy match and then beat AMW in the rematch. If we look at the World TV Championship, a variety of defenses. All sorts of fun stuff there. Women's World Tag, beat Toyota Inoue to win the titles, beat Joda and Lala to retain the titles, and then beat Cartier and Alexander. U.S. title, started. Let's see here. Toro beat Ray Jr. at Starrcade, then he beat The Truth at Shroud and Sun. Wright beat him at Super Brawl, then Wright beat Noble. Wright beat Jet at Wrestle War. Fry beat Wright by DQ in May. Wright then beat Simmons at Honor Revolution, then beat Cash, and then lost title Awesome. And then if we look at the Women's World Championship, of course, Sky won the triple threat at Starrcade, then defeated Angel Fox and Lucky James in a triple threat on Revolution, then lost by DQ to Jody Lawler, defeated Gail Kim at Super Brawl, lost to Gail Kim at Rising Sun Revolution. Cartier defeated Gail Kim by DQ, then Gail Kim won the rematch, and then Trish Sky defeated her at Great American Bash. So that's sort of the titles. Let's see here. Merchandise-wise, of course, Goldberg, RVD, Ray Jr., Booker T, Kane, and Trish Sky, AJ Styles, Chuck Palumbo, Jeff Jarrett, Eddie Guerrero. Guess we're selling a lot of Slapnuts shirt. Then, sort of the next level down is Sean O'Hare, Ric Flair, Johnny Lawler, Macias, Brother Ray, Monty Brown, Raven, Paul London, James Storm, Jeff Hardy. Then, if we go all the way down to the bottom here, people selling the least amount of t-shirts. 100 is Kai Graves, Blaster Lashley, Allie Danger, Lex Luger, Lexi James, Natty Neidhart. Basically people who aren't really over yet, so that's interesting. Sitting at average is Ron Simmons, then I guess myself as Roddy Piper, Teddy Long's a little more, but it's interesting to see where people are. We're at level 8, which means, we monetize our old evidence by selling a DVD. We produce worker-specific merchandise, can sell worldwide, so there you go, fun stuff. Now we're going to go ahead and look over our roster here. So let's honestly start right at the top. Well, actually, yeah, first, let me actually fix this. So first, let's look at our non-brand champions, which is ironically the entirety of the triumvirate. So we got Billy Kidman, who, is like, he's not like a fantastic, I mean, his aerial, like, he's a much better aerial flashiness than he was in real life, mainly because he's actually getting slowly better at it. Like, honestly, this should be a rating that, like, doesn't go up after, like, you're 30. I mean, I guess there's, like, the Will Ospreys of the world, but, like, most wrestlers sort of hit their height of, like, aerialness in, like, their late 20s, regardless. A Psych's slowly getting up, so, like, yeah, I mean, charisma, like, yeah, he's never going to be the biggest charisma guy, but, like, everything else, he's, like, a really good worker. Again, pop-wise, like, he started at 80, and he's honestly about the same. So I really do think he sort of hit a, what's the word I'm looking for here? He sort of, like, hit his pop cap, possibly. And I find it weird that, like, he dropped 3 points, I guess, because he won a Great American Bash. I guess it's simply, like, yeah, I'm going to guess it's because of the losing the match against Canyon Wright, which doesn't make sense because Cannon's the one who pinned him. It's weird. Regardless, he's Kidman, he's your world champion, and he will be, for the foreseeable future. Again, I do have a plan for basically the main event picture until next year, and you'll see when that happens. So then we got Lance Storm, who's of course freaking great, 89 technical, 89 psych, future road agent, just insane, not great charisma microphone, but popularity, I mean, dare anything is like Kidman's, like both Storm and Awesome are actually more over than Kidman, which, is interesting. But yeah, like he's had a great year, like going from 85s, like once I'm done with, like once he sort of finished this run, he could be like a main event guy. And honestly, same thing with Mike Awesome. Like he lost a little bit of pop recently because he was up to 83, I guess, after doing the job. But like, yeah, he's been like in that low 80s period, and he's still a solid worker, like not great, but he can still do brawling hardcore stuff. Good psych, decent charisma, good menace still. Getting up there to 40, so might be on his last run, but still doing really good. And now let's go to let me see if there are any other perceptions of people without. Okay, yeah. Oh, right, there's a couple other people I want to show you guys. So there's okay, actually I'll go over these guys. I'm just going to change them over the Nitro real quick, just because I forgot to. Again, things to realize when you're doing it live on camera. All right, and also April Hunter, because she's like part of the triumvirate. I mean, she's just there to be eye candy. Like even her like charisma microphones are still bad. Like she's gotten like stupidly over just by being Kidman's side piece. Like just stupidly, like just insanely, especially the last couple of months. Like she has like in-ring skills, but she's like there are some 14-year-olds in this version of 2005 who have her as a poster, and I'm not going to get past that. But let's see, outside of that, is there anything else for you guys? And there is a slight spoiler if you're looking at the screen for too long, but I'm just going to ignore that. Randy Savage, since he works as a commentator on Revolution, is a manager on Nitro. He's retired, still has great charisma, still has great microphone, lots of star quality. And let's see, since I hired him, like, yeah, it's about the same, like, up to, like, a main event guy over in his Spies. And, like, his, like, run as a manager of Don Fry is not going to be forever. And the other thing is, like, as a color commentator, like, he's only, like, he's good, but he's not quite maybe national level good. But he's as good as I can have right now, so that's what his job will be. And then finally, we have some people who are currently on vacation or not around. So, also, again, another person to put over on Nitro officially. Gotta remember that. So Stevie Ray's sort of just around. Like, he's retired. I don't have much to do with him. He doesn't have the mic skills to be a color commentator like he was in real life. So there you go. So he shows up basically help Booker out occasionally, but that's about it. Because I'm going to keep him on contract. Like, we'll probably just let his contract run out, and then Booker won't be mad at me that way. Let's see here. There's Sting, who's currently on vacation. Well, no, right now he's filming for one more day. I mean, he's still doing okay. Like, honestly, he probably has better ratings in real life, but he still has good charisma, still is quite over. So, like, he's not done yet the same way maybe somebody like Flair is. But yeah, so that's sort of our, like, people with no brand, along with his boilers, but you guys did not see that. Anyway, starting with Nitro. Let's start with our major stars. So, of course, that starts out with Bill Goldberg. Goldberg has had an interesting year. Like he's only had a couple matches. He had that match against Brother Showdown's son. He lost to Don Fry. Then he beat Don Fry. Then he had the match that never really happened against Sean O'Haire. So not the best year, but he's still stupidly over. He still has an insane star quality, And yeah, he's still our most over guy, which is sort of interesting at this point. So there you go. Well, not much to say here. He's fucking Goldberg, who didn't leave wrestling after 2004. Eddie's here. He's a heel. He's still fucking technical, aerial, psych. Charisma and Mike is still below what it should be, but that's sort of a side effect of the game starting in 2000, not 2004. Again, at a certain point, he went. It wasn't his pop cap. Well, I think he did get ripped as opposed to muscular, so that might help his pop cap. But here's the thing: he's an 87 now. I could see him having another world title reign at some point. But yeah, so far, great year. Defeated El Hijo de Santo, Showdown's son. Then had this feud with Canyon, which, included a triple threat world title match and a cage heat match. And now he's going after Bill Goldberg. So that'll be a big show. Jeff Jarrett, leader of the Chosen Few, really friggin' over. Good brawler, and that's about it. Really good psych. So basically the perfect Memphis wrestler. Good at brawling, good at psych, and that's really all you need. Still good charisma, very good microphone. I mean, honestly, yeah. And then we look at his pop. He's only gone up since the start of the year, only by 2 points. But again, Jarrett is somebody who could be who wouldn't be out of place as a world champion on here. He'd never be a top heel like he was in TNA, probably because he doesn't own the company. Probably just because there are other guys who are just a little bit better. But if he had if I had Nitro and Revolution titles, there would be a time when he would be the Nitro champ, I think. But I'm not doing that, so it might be a little more tougher for him. Then we have Canyon, who is great. The interesting thing is outside of brawling, he doesn't have great top row stats here, but his psych's at a 80, charisma's at an 89, microphone's at a friggin' 99. Honestly, I should just use my skills more. Basics 90, he's really great. 89 overness. He's our number one full-time babyface since Goldberg sort of only around part of the time, but still stupidly over. Of course, this year, had the feud with, basically his whole first part of the year has been his feud with Eddie, and now he's going after the world championship against Bill Kidman. Kaz, aka wrestler number one, that I've had some issues with under pushing. Here's the thing: he has an overness of 78. He has psychology 84, 83 aerial, 71 pure Sue. Other great skills. Just has great matches. Popularity wise, has gone from a 64 to a 77, despite not doing much, And yeah, has had a really good. I mean, he's moved from being a 12 and 12 jobber to the stars to being really pushed as far as Ninkyo, who I'm doing sort of a quasi storyline at the moment now since Stacy Keibler is off filming. But look at this run: 4-way 89, Assault of Anarchy 98, Random Match versus Teddy Hart 90, and then 83 with Chavo and Tishiri, 84 with Kaz, 86 as teaming with Eddie against Canyon, Chavo, and Tishiri. So yeah, just again, he should be a guy who, if I could figure out the right character and angle for him, could be an actual top level guy. Maybe not a world title shot, but he could be a really good US title contender. Morningstar, Christopher Daniels, a really great in-ring, good mic skills, not as good mic skills and charisma as maybe he had in real life, but still really good in-ring. Pop-wise, he's been solid. He's gone up from an 80 to an 82, had some rough spots. Of course, since dropping the titles and Macy's turning on, has been involved in a feud with Raven and Kai Graves, and, that's basically been his, history. Not that many matches, but there you go. Again, at a certain point, this feud with Raven Macias will end, but how it will end for Morningstar remains to be seen. And then we got Sean O'Haire, who, is honestly not that great in ring. Like, brawling, psychology's good, decent, like, basic stats, but not the best guy. Not that that really matters. Pop-wise, he's had not the best year. Like, he's dropped a couple points. He's way down from his peak, which is sort of my fault, because he's sort of, like, been involved in either feuds against people who don't really matter. Like, he had a match against Jarrett where he did the job. Defeated Palumbo at Super Brawl, no big win. Defeated Toro at Wrestle War. Defeated Toro again. But, like, yeah, he really hasn't been doing much. And so hopefully his feud with Dawnfire really help him out. And Shane Helms, of course, our former world champion. Helms Legacy broke up, now being managed by Titus Tomko. Oh. He's still really good in ring. Charisma microphone is, not as good as I hoped. Start quality is still meh. But popularity wise, of course, about the same as he would at the start of the year. Solid in sort of like a upper mid card role. Double check his skills here. He's not. I'm curious. Yeah, up a little bit in charisma, up a little, about the same little bit in microphone. So maybe I can see him having another world title run eventually, or another long U.S. title run, or maybe he'll make a statement in the tag division. Who knows? So if we're moving down to stars, we got Alex Wright, of course, former U.S. champion, having a much better career than he did in real life. He basically disappeared after WCW closed down. A good flashiness, decent charisma, not great microphone, but what can you do? Pop-wise, if we look at him, a couple points, about the same where he was, at the beginning of the year, a couple points up. If we look at his match history, solid, a solid year. Best match, if we take a quick look, was, of course, when he dropped the title, Awesome. And yeah, that's about it. Very good, sort of like, honestly, the Kaz role of last year, where he's doing a lot of drops to top guys, but also really good in ring. Brother Ray has had an interesting year. He actually has good psychology and decent brawling, and he's gotten really over. Like, he's, sort of could be a main event guy. And if you look at his match history, sort of, I've had the short little respect feud against Goldberg, then fought against Monty Brown at Super Brawl, had a really good match against Eddie. I had another great match against Eddie. And this interesting is, I don't think they have good chemistry. Had Brother Ray first, then had the feud that's still continuing on with Brother Ray, and that seems like it might take up the rest of the summer, is his feud with Jeff Jarrett. Then we have Don Fry, who of course arrived, is really over because New Japan has clearance in the US, so he has an 83. And, he's sort of here as a part-timer. So he had his squashes in to basically, have announced himself to the crowd, beat Goldberg in his, pay-per-view debut, then return the job, and now he's going after Sean O'Hare. Bischoff, he's actually good at charisma microphone. He's not on announcing color because he's really bad at it, but he's doing a good job as sort of the neutral Nitro GM who is looking for ratings. And he's still, he's really over. He can, carry, he can help people who are less over them in segments and not, run behind our top guys as well. Jonathan Toro is interesting because, he hasn't had quite the year I wanted him to have. He's been stuck at 73, which might be his pop cap. I'll see about that. And skill-wise, he's never going to be great in ring or charisma. And that's sort of honestly, the big thing was him not clicking with O'Hare. If he clicked with O'Hare, or at least did not click, I was thinking about, maybe a long feud that'd really get him over as main eventer. That didn't work out. So I have an alternate idea for him, which you guys will see in the next couple weeks. Because he's still only 28, so he has a chance. Magnificent Mark Jindrak, who's one of those guys who's more over than you'd think. Literally being with part of the chosen few. He's 75, which I think is probably his pop cap. Decent in-ring skills. He's only 28, so he has a chance to get better. Really good psychology. And, he's basically been with, Johnny Divine. He just had matches either against people Jared been feuding with, or, tag matches with Divine. So I'll just jump to Divine for a second here. And again, Divine's gotten really over mainly by being in segments with Jarrett and being in matches with Jarrett. So yeah, he's up to a 72. Honestly, he could be somebody who could go after the US title or have a TV title reign and be perfectly good at it. Then we go to Macias, who's my screw up here. Not so much because I actually been booking him bad, but because I forgot he has dropped down to high 70s, high to mid 70s from low to mid 80s, and he has done some jobs. I mean, let's see. They lost Secret of Sin, beat him mainly because like massive interference. AEW lost the titles, and then more like so. Yeah, that sort of thing. Is he does need to be rebuilt, and me like dropping his overness now did make Bischoff upset at me. But what can you do? But like, yeah, part of this my job for the rest of the year is rebuilding Macias into the monster he can't be. Then we go from stars to well-knowns, and we got Jack Evans, who is like, who despite being only a like 70, is still having like random 80, like is having random 90 matches with people. So that's the more interesting thing is like, yeah, he's actually a lot less over than he was at starting, mainly because I think I've been doing some jobs. I've been sort of dropping him out along with Teddy. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, I mean, he's, wow, okay, fuck. I did not realize I was jobbing them out this hard. 1-12? Let me just see what his record is with Teddy, because now I'm curious. Okay, so yeah, they're 1-7-2. Jesus, I did not think I was hurting them that badly. Okay, that explains a lot. But anyway, regardless of this, he's still stupidly over, like, for what he is. He's getting still like 85-90, 85-90 ratings in matches. So yeah, but still, 85 hardcore. Okay, that's interesting. I did not expect that. So there you go. Jason Jett, he's here. Honestly, he's stuck in no man's land. He doesn't have a story right now. He's not the right kind of character to really go after the other mid-card baby faces. And yeah, that sort of thing. It's like, he's just sort of there. Like, he's honestly, he's somebody whom I might let go when his contract gets up just because I don't have a great idea for him. Jerry Lawler, he's our color commentator. We signed him away from the WWE. Or we signed him away because he had let go at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of this with, yeah. But, he's still a good color commentator. And, yeah, he's still our main guy, Not going to involve in angles, but there you go. Raven, of course, we signed from WWE. Mainly put in the storyline with Morningstar Macias. Good hardcore, good psych, really good charisma microphone. If we look at his popularity here, has gone up from a 66 up to a 76. So he could have a really solid like career run here. Reno, split from the from the Helms Legacy, disappeared for a couple months, has dropped in popularity mainly because I've been using him as a jobber to the stars. And honestly, again, he's somebody else who I might let go just because like there's not much to do with him. He's way past his real life sell by date, and yeah, I don't know. Flair, of course, he basically went on sabbatical for a bit after dropping, his match with Macias and Morningstar. He has had no matches this year. Showed up, started scouting wrestlers, and revealed he was now the manager of Claudio and Lashley. Still really over. Still stupid, still stupid psych. Still stupid psych, stupid charisma, super microphone. So yeah, regardless of whether he retires or not, I'm going to keep him around at his current career. Stacey Keebler, I'm currently filming a spot, but actually really good charisma, good microphone. Of course, lots of star quality, lots of sex appeal. Was managing Ninkyo, and there she is. Tank Tolan, one half of the Tolan Lippin tag team, otherwise known as one half of two people who got oddly over, who I wasn't expecting, and now they're teaming together. Tolan started out a 52-ish this year, now up to a 64. His Southeast popularity has been dropping from his dev run, so there you go. But yeah, really good psychology, good aerial, good technical, but, team with Le Pen, managed by Don Marie, we'll see how he does. Teddy Hart, another guy, stupidly over in the Southeast, I think from his Def Ed run. But yeah, somebody who can do maybe that's why they had a 98. Currently dating Mickey James, which is interesting. And if you look at real life, maybe you should be worried about him, but hey, different reality, which means maybe he won't turn to a weird asshole. Or let me put that, more of a weird asshole. But yeah, sort of that's where we are. Lots of star quality. Weirdly, a lot of star quality, so there you go. Then Truth, who gives somebody else we brought in from WWE, give him a strong push, long TV title reign. And up from a 54 to a 72. So he's somebody else who could be in competition for the upper mid-card belts. He's currently feuding with the Chosen Few, so we'll see how he goes with that. Then we go from our well-knowns to our recognizables. And Arn Anderson, who's a road agent, Billy Simmons, a ref, Charles Robinson, a ref, Chavo, who's still really good in ring, but after his little feud with Eddie, I don't know what to do with him really. He's sort of stuck in the mid card team with Tajiri. And like I gave him one against Ninkyo to push Ninkyo's story, but like I don't know what else to really like. Him and Tajiri are two guys who I should be pushing more. I just know what's the right spot for him. Don Marie, like managing Tolan and Le Pen, she is what she is. Gigantes, of course, was gone for a while in rehab, back. Honestly, has 5 months on his contract, probably won't last past that. Skipper, solid year, like, not as good as year as previous year, but, still solid stuff. Stein's kind of scared for him. Well, big thing is, like, yes, that matches against people more over than him, so that's probably part of the reason why. But yeah, like, solid year, like, not the best year, but still a strong part of the Cruiserweight division. Currently teaming with Prince Osei in a bit of an odd couple tag team, and we'll see how that goes. Barash is our, voiceover guy, our control center guy, Saturday night announcer, fun stuff like that. Prince Osei, of course, is a guy who came in officially on TV at this part of the year, has gone up from 54s to about the same. Solid in-ring guy. Charisma Micro is actually only okay. So we'll see how he does for the rest of his run. Ray LePen, again, good brawler, decent in-ring stats, not the best charisma microphone, like sort of mid, like sort of CB tier for that. Has gotten a lot more over since he debuted, and he should be a solid mid-card guy if nothing else. Titus Tomko, of course, debuted only a couple months back, is currently Shane Helm's bodyguard / tag team partner, and that's what we're sort of working with as. He's slowly getting more over, and we'll see if he actually survives long term or if he's somebody else who Helms eventually turfs out. Then Tony's, of course, is our Raw announcer. Then we go into the realm of the unimportance, which I think is So, I'm going to go through the guys kind of quickly, but so we got Aries, Lashley. So yeah, we got Aries, who of course was going for the Cruiserweight title. Is honestly a lot less over than I thought. I thought it was getting more over, but yeah, I guess we got to sort of just sort of bite the bullet and involve these guys in more segments so they maybe get more over. But really good in ring, decent charisma, decent microphone, and we'll just have to see how he does. Blash and Cesaro, of course, just debuted. Basically about a month or so back. Cesaro's already Cesaro in the ring. Blaster Lashley's getting there, and we'll just see how well their team does. Grace Suzuki can only work Monday, so honestly, I might let him go soon enough, because he's not going to get more over, and he's, settled for just working over in Japan. Hidaka is another guy who maybe I should do more with, but again, he has a really good gimmick, but, I don't know, just throwing in matches doesn't seem like enough. I'm not a guy who can be entertained playing this game just by putting people in good matches. I know there are people who can. Unless I'm have a story for you, I just can't get into booking you. Jerry Lynn is somebody who we currently have a handshake deal, basically to work as sort of like in canon, working with cruiserweights to help with their psych. Kai Graves, again, recently brought up from our dev fed. Decent in-ring skills, not going to be great, but he's coming in good star quality though. Only okay menace, but he's basically brought in to work as a character, and we'll see how he works long term. Killswitch and Wrathchild are two guys who, of course, got brought in to be Morning Stars and helpers, but honestly, I sort of screwed up with them just because I didn't have any good feuds for them. But I'm sure they'll hang around for a bit more. Matt Sydal, former Cruiserweight champion, against somebody else who I need to put up against or put in segments to get more over, because he's really good in ring. Terrible at microphone acting, which honestly is correct for Sydal. Good star quality, though. Reckless Roberts, our current Cruiserweight champion. Getting over. Decent in-ring. Not the best character microphone guy, but what can you do? Romy and Swinger, part of the Roman Legion. We'll see how they end up doing long-term. Shannon Moore, honestly, just our Cruiserweight jobber. Terry Taylor, one of our road agents. Tracy, who's now officially Tracy Roberts. Good charisma, good microphone. So she should hopefully help Roberts get more over. And, maybe be a solid part of the Cruiserweight division as a manager. And then Yang, who I've been trying to push as part of Ninkyo, but, he's just sort of, I don't know. I guess he needs a lot more wins in a lot more ways, because he still has cold momentum, but he's really good in ring, and we'll just see how it works out with him. So now we're moving on to Revolution, and just for sake of, keeping it separated, keep them separated, but just to keep things sort of, separated and on even keel, What I'm going to do is actually keep the men and women separated here just for the sake of keeping things all right. Anyway, though, so we start with AJ Styles, really over, now muscular. So there you go. Up from mid 80s, up to only a couple points, but still getting really over. Match history wise, team with Ray Jr. go after Awesome Storm. Lost to Palumbo. Lost to Monty Brown in a really big Revolution match. Was part of the 4-way, but big strong plans for him. Really good in ring. Really getting better. And let me just look at his start quality because I'm interested about something. Okay, so it didn't really help, but sex appeal. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, still has a little way to go because he's only 26, but he will be, eventually a big part of our main event scene. He already is mostly. Booker T, getting older, but still really good, really over. Still decent in ring, but still really great, other skills. Solid year. Didn't have his first pay per view match, shockingly, until Slamboree when he fought Palumbo. Had the world title shot, and that was it. Palumbo, speaking of people, he's above the 90s, which is really good, especially after his win at Great American Bash. Feuded with O'Hare. Then had the match where he beat AJ, lost to Palumbo at Slamboree, then won the 4-way, and now is the #1 seed for the Mayhem Tournament. Monty Brown, solid stuff. Sort of a restructuring year as he's a part of sort of that top part of Revolution. Might be at his pop cap, or I just haven't had the match to put him over. Okay in-ring skills, could be better. And yeah, sort of where he is. Paul London, again, somebody who could be part of the main event eventually. I just have to figure out the right angle to get him there. But 83, good year, really good in-ring. But yeah, lost to Kidman back at Super Brawl. Then lost to Cat, beat Cash Great American Bash, and then sort of has been sort of the jobber to the stars, to the heels, sort of the gatekeeper role. Ray Jr. still stupidly over. Yeah. Up from the 80s to a 90s, so that's good. Yeah, still great in-ring. Good star quality. So yeah, what can you do? Rob Dam, of course, our former world champion. Still really over despite doing some jobs. Basically as over as he was when he was champion. Lost the title, to Kidman. Lost the rematch. Has been some various matches. But yeah, still really great in-ring. Oops. But, what else can you say about that? Stars, we just Karis and Storm, who of course are our tag team 3-time tag champions. Storm is slightly more over and honestly slightly better than everything. But they both have basically the same run, and we'll see what they do, in the long run. Jamie Noble, of course, good in ring, good psychology. Feuding with Anderson for most of the back half of this year, and been about as over he's been the whole time. Not much else really to say here. He is what he is. Never going to be a top tier guy, but is getting a better push, honestly, than he did in real life. Well knowns, Cash, who like Jason Jett is sort of stuck in a morass of being in a mid card with nowhere to go. He's still good in ring skills. Good flyer, okay in the other stats. Really good psychology. Popularity wise, has been sort of floating in the 70 range for the whole time. Attack style is the last Revolution, so maybe that can be a fun little summer storyline, but outside of that, not sure. Keaton Sharp is somebody who has kind of floundered. Strong push right away, had the US title reign, that feud with Ray Jr., really good psychology still, and then sort of has been sort of stuck in second gear. Feuding with Chris Roxy at the moment, which is not the best feud if you want to be a top tier guy like him, but at the same time, it could be a lot worse. Decent promo skills. Not what I'm saying. Not decent promo skills. Decent just decent stuff overall. And else we'll see what happens with him in the long run. Because he is talented, and I think he has a good long term future. Just sort of in that reign where wrestlers go through where they don't have a lot to do for a few months. Teddy Long is our GM. Solidly over. Good charisma. Good microphone. What else do you want? Recognizable. Let's see here. Yeah, Demolenko, who's just sort of like our workhorse undercard guy who maybe will probably retire and then become a backstage guy. Dusty, who's our backstage guy. Ken, who's a rising star. Good psychology, good charisma, good microphone. Getting over, beat Jamie Nolan I Quit match and up from like 30s and 40s up to 50s and 70s and could be a real guy here by the end of the year. Mickey J, ref. Mike Tenay, our ring announcer. Nick Patrick, ref. Ron Simmons, again, he's sort of like Demolenko, same thing. They're both guys who will probably not be around after their next contract, at least as wrestlers. And then unimportant is Brown Chris Roxy, who came in as, the character being a Spring Brick Bro. Not the best character. He's not terrible in ring, but, he's somebody who I might have to readjust, send him away, or might just be this might be the end of his run. Finley is getting older. Will probably become a backstage guy after this, because, not great in ring anymore. And there we go. Johnny Ace, one of our road agents. Keith Walker, somebody who has been brought in as sort of like an MMA guy in the fighting pit with Troy Wilson as his manager, and honestly has not gotten that over. It just hasn't worked. I don't know if I just haven't been putting him over guys strong enough or giving him feuds. There's a feud I have him for him in the next month or two, which will probably make him sink or swim. So that'll be that. Mike Posey, ref, Sandman, honestly, brought him largely for an angle for that big match at last year's Starrcade, that 6-man hardcore war, and now he's sort of just floating around. I imagine he's doing a lot of house shows. Sean Zaziak is a guy who's literally I just haven't gotten around to getting rid of. His contract will be over in a few months, and that'll be that. Then Sun Siaki, who of course just came up from our dev fed, and we'll see how that goes. Because he has good skills, okay charisma, okay microphone, good start quality, and we'll see how he does up here on the main roster. And now for the fun part, the women. So, major stars. Female. All right. So, Gail Kim, of course, really over. Up almost 15 points since her debut. Really good in ring still. Good psych, good charisma, good star quality. What else do you want? Jimmy Lawler, of course, is currently on vacation. Really stupidly over still. Not quite at her height, but we're using all this overness to help other people get over. I have some ideas for a character for her when she comes back, and you'll just have to watch out for that. Trisha Sky, of course, signed over from WWE. Really insanely popular. Probably our number 3 or 4 popularity-wise person. Only up a few points, but still really over. Not as good in ring in some parts than our other women, but she's Trish Stratus. So there it goes. And she's not bad in ring, so there's that. Then if we go down to stars, no stars, which sort of is the gap. Sort of is the problem. We have to rebuild new women. Well known, Celine Cartier, former women's world champion. Sort of the top of the upper mid card here. Really still solid in ring, good psych. Meh, good start, meh. Everything else is her charisma microphone, more of an in-ring worker than anything else. But she can be part of the mid-card, be a challenger for the women's world title, and be all that fun stuff. Nikita Colt, one half of our tag champions, has sort of stagnated as the world tag champions, but that is what she is. I mean, she's still up 15 points since the beginning of the year, so there is that. Maybe what happens when you're on TV regularly and winning. Really good in ring, good microphone skills. So she's somebody who honestly could be a future top heel, because remember, she's only 24. So she has a long run in front of her. Charmel, she's Booker's manager. What else can you say? Recognizable. Angel Fox and Lizzie Dumas, 2/3 of Captivation. Honestly, 2 people. Angel Fox has sort of been stuck in the morass here. Been stuck at around 50. But she's decent in ring. Good acting. Okay, really good charisma. Decent microphone. Lizzie Dumas, of course, the former Lita. She came in the same time as Trish Stratus. Trish is more over, and I've pushed Trish a lot stronger. Honestly, she's one of the few people who have lost popularity since I signed her. But I'm readjusting her, and we'll see what she does there. We've seen Abusic, of course, Nikki Colt's partner, gotten way more over. Not quite as over as Nikita, but still a strong person, part of the roster, and hopefully she'll be able to do some single stuff as well. And then we got Unimportant, which is all that Alyssa Alexander. I'm not going to go over the overness because they're so wacky at this point, but she's, future strong babyface, good in ring, actually decent charisma, so we'll see about that. Allie Danger, the former Allison Danger, good in ring, good psych, okay charisma, Amy Weber, our interviewer extraordinaire. Annie Vidal, former Antisocial. Desiree Dawkins, former Desire / Kim Nielsen. Emi Sakura. Lexi James, who's down here a lot lower than I thought. Violet Vivez, former Lacey. Nanny Neidhart. Nikki Radcliffe, former Nikki Rocks. Raven Rain, who's Trick Columbo's manager and doing well. And Ronnie Jones. So if you notice, like, there's sort of a consistency here. There's nobody who's like a standout in ring or standout charisma. They're all sort of like fine. Like there's no blue here. Like outside of like reputation and such. Like there's no blue in like their skills and there's no blue in their charisma. So that's sort of like, it's sort of tough to push them too strong because none of them are like truly standout. So that's what I'll have to figure out. Or hope somebody really, moves up either in DevFed or on the main roster here. But this is it for part 1. In part 2, I'll go over our DevFed and we'll take a look around the wrestling world. So I hope you are looking forward to that. Otherwise, if you like this, go ahead and give it a like, comment on below on what you're liking and not liking, and of course subscribe to the channel for plenty of other TEW 2020 content, such as this, my Ring of Honor series, some Journey of Wrestling stuff, of course, and my Crusader Kings 3, Victoria 3, and who knows what might else pop up. But that's it for now, so talk later, and adios. Have a good one.